Okay, we are rolling, sir.
Episode 9?
Oh, yeah, I believe so. 9 or 8.
All right.
Oh,
Give me a gentleman, we're pre-recorded.
Oh, you want me to start with that?
Yeah.
Gerard, we are pre-recorded.
Everybody, how we doing out there in the internet world? It is your boy, Gerard Michaels. From the age of authenticity, I am the most authentic. I am the tower of power, too lean to be sour. And to my right, speaking of lean, how much weight have you lost?
Stop.
From getting ready for the breadline himself, everybody's favorite producer, David the Commie. David the Commie. Now, David the Commie, did you see our Supreme Leader-in-Chief not only called our capital Parliament, but said everybody that's a right-wing crazy is out there as a fascist, and they want things like individual freedom. Well, they better get an F-15, and that, David, is why I am leaning in.
Oh, yeah, you are.
I'm leaning in to my inner fascist,
Look at you.
and I say,
Oh, there it is.
yeah, here I am thinking I've been a libertarian this whole time, and all I wanted is to just, I don't know, let people live and, let live. But no, it turns out I am actually against law and order.
I had no idea.
I am actually I am the problem, David.
Yeah.
I am the problem, and as the problem, I decided that I might as well just go ahead and be the villain, because the villain has the best wardrobe and the best lines. I am the bad guy, baby. And that gives you power over me.
Oh, God. Wow. You look at you. Look at that little number. You look like a flamboyant Billy Butcher. You look like Billy Butcher. Billy Butcher hates the soups.
You think
I hate those shoes.
you think ridicule is your ally?
Oh.
I was born in it, molded by it. I had not a compliment till I was already a man. Oh, we got so much to talk about today, David. We got so much to talk about. We're going to try to keep it light for as long as possible, but I'm not going to keep things light. So we're going to talk about the goodies that the billionaires at the World Economic Forum have for us. Do you know what ESG is, David?
You know what, Gerard? No.
We're going to talk about it because ESG...
Isn't that thing that they put in your food to make it taste better, salt?
MSG.
Wait, so what's MSM?
Sodium glutamate. Mainstream media, a.k.a. fake news. Yeah. And also, ESG, environmental social governance, is how this is the queen on the chessboard that the globalists, they're moving it into place. They're so close they can taste it. They're so close. The globalists are so close to this one world government, this total domination, and it's hilarious watching the people who support this turn a blind eye to all the shenanigans. You don't like high gas prices, like Pete Buttigieg, a young leader of the World Economic Forum, said. What did he say? Well, just buy an electric car.
Yeah.
Just buy an electric car.
Just
guy.
buy one.
And today, from the great state of California, they have a notice out. Please don't charge your electric cars. The grid's a little bit overwhelmed. If you guys could just not do the whole charging of the cars, that'd be great. The same day that they announced that by 2030, a mere almost 7 years, gas cars are going to be illegal. It's going to be
Illegal?
I believe. Check it out, because I don't want fake news. I don't want to get hit. I don't want to be live from the Shadowban.
You want my car? Come and take it.
Yeah, as the great dictator himself, as Comrade Obama once said, if you like your car, you can keep it.
Comrade Obama. How much is an electric vehicle, Michael? I mean, it's a car. What is it, $10?
Yeah.
Show Bluetooth. It's a banana, Michael.
It's a banana, Michael. Yeah, crazy stuff. The bikini is going away.
Fuck yeah, I love that.
Long-lived body tape. There's something changing the world forever.
How is that environmentally friendly?
Female empowerment and environmentally friendly. It is the Black Tape Project. Just goes to show you how freaking gullible and stupid the whole world is. Did you ever see, speaking of California and stupid and gullible, not that any of the things have to do with one another.
Sure.
Did you ever see when Payless They were getting dragged online, and they were like, you know what? We're going to do a social experiment. And they bought for a day, they bought a storefront in a very high-end area. And
Yes.
they brought in all these
Yes, I did.
influencers to be like, oh, this is Jean Gigot. Oh, I can see this. This is the type of thing that people would see and be like, oh my God, I'm so jealous. And then they were like, it's Payless. And you see the absolute fear and hatred in their eyes as you did what? I just spent $500 for Payless shoes.
Also, can we talk about that name? Payless. It's like it could not be more like
you? How dare you? Yeah.
cheap.
So, what's new in the clown world, man? Anything you want to talk about today?
Gerard, I wanna react to a lot of these articles that you sent me. 'Cause a lot of them you just sent me.
Because you didn't read any of them.
I didn't read any of them, and I like to keep it. You know, I am the audience.
Keep it fresh.
I am your audience. I am a vessel for them. So I'd like to just live react to all of these, all this news, and just take your word for it.
Take my word for it. Don't take my word for it. Take Uncle Joe Biden's word for it, where he called half the country extreme fascist. You got that? You want to pull that up?
Not in those shoes, honey.
Yeah. Right after Uncle Joe said that he was the only white guy in the blackest part of town, and then went out of his way to make sure everybody knew that. But it also had the highest crime, but the best basketball in the state. Our commander-in-chief, I'm not making that up, look it up. He goes on to call...
Do you remember when he said, you're not black if you don't vote for Joe
Well,
Biden?
if you don't vote for me, you ain't black, Jack. Says it to Charlemagne the God.
Whoops.
Uh-huh.
Oh, wow.
I'm telling you, dude, they keep saying and doing, they're just lying nonstop. And dude, have you seen the new thing that they keep saying rightly to everything? Rightly. This is like, are they like trying to do Trump's bigly? Like Karine, Jean-Pierre, this is something.
What's the context? It's like,
because they keep saying, well, the people don't like what we rightly did, or when we rightly thought the work had been done. They keep throwing this word rightly in there, and it's like, all right. Yeah.
Stop trying to make rightly happen, Joe. It's not going to happen.
Stop making rightly a thing. Rightly will never be a thing.
Yeah,
it's hilarious. Mean Girls. It's one of my favorite memes on the history of the internet, by the way. If you watch Mean Girls backwards, it's it's a story about a girl that becomes so unpopular she has to move to Africa. The internet was good before it was horrible. Now that meme gets everybody shadow banned.
No.
What do you think about shadow banning, David? You all right with it? Is this Donald Trump? They deserved it. Are we going back 2 weeks?
I mean, if you're spreading false information about the World Economic Forum, then yeah, it's not.
Ouch.
Oh, was that you?
I feel like that's a direct hit. It was not false information. I call BS.
Yeah. Would you say you called them what instead of what?
No, I shared a post that used hyperbole. It called them 100,000 internet warriors, and then they banged me on semantics saying, actually, the article says that there are 100,000 internet volunteers.
Oh, you could argue that the word warriors paints them in a more violent picture than the word volunteers, but volunteers also paints them in a more delicate one, so it's like, that's also not fair.
Also, Joe Biden lied 7 times last night on Twitter, and his account's fine.
Okay, well, so what? What are you going to do about it?
What are you going to do? And that's the point. Nothing. Because...
Nothing. You'll sit there and watch old man...
Yeah, even though they call us and they call, anybody who's center, anybody who's center right, anybody who's right, anybody who's center left is a Nazi now, apparently. They're fascists. Fascists.
Yes.
And I got to tell you, for fascists, we're pretty calm. These people keep pushing us, and we go, stop that. You do that 17, 18 more times, I'm going to get pretty upset, buddy.
Yeah,
I mean, we are the biggest wusses in the history of the world. In the history of the world, there's never been bigger wusses than the American male right now.
That's true. I think you said it once before on the PVD pod where you said, this is like the least violent era of all human race. Like we are the least violent we've ever been.
We're the most successful we've ever been, and we're desperately trying to destroy it.
If this is success, I want none of it.
He says, choosing the food not to eat. Can you imagine?
Yeah,
2,000 years ago?
No, it's true. 2,000 years ago, you'd be eating exactly what I'm eating. Only beef, baby.
Yeah.
Beef in your air fryer.
Yeah, but you're like, that's enough for me. I'm good. Do you think people pushed away from the table 2,000 years ago?
No. Well, actually, no. I actually eat until I'm full. That's the beauty of the carnivore diet. You don't have to limit yourself. You just eat beef. I'm eating like our ancestors, Gerard.
Are you going to eat bugs?
I'll eat a bug.
Yeah.
Yeah.
World Economic Forum says it's racist if you don't eat bugs.
It's racist if I only. Well, give me a bug. I ain't no racist.
That's how they get you. That's how they get you.
That ESG has to be up, baby.
Oh man, there's so much we're gonna go over today, but I feel like such a bitch. I'm such a bitch. They keep pushing. They call me everything that they are. They do lockdowns. They shadow ban people. They censor people. They digitally gulag people. They are the fascists. And then they turn around and be like, "You're the fascist," and I'm just like, "Oh, come on, guys, stop that."
Yeah.
I'm a punk.
Yeah, you're that kid that got yelled at by his parents, and then he went to his room and he started just like throwing things around, but being really quiet.
They just
Can't get more in
They
trouble.
say, what are you going to do about it? What are you going to do? They want somebody from the right, somebody from the center to throw a punch so bad.
Yeah.
They want somebody to take a shot at one of these people so bad so they can lock it all down and be like, "See, we told you." I mean, these people are trying to. They can't stage. They can't stage a coup big enough.
No.
They tried to put pipe bombs in Washington. Everybody's like, "Hey, what are you doing?" You remember when everybody was going around during the riots, the mostly peaceful riots, and there was like pallets of bricks in Philadelphia, I believe it was, where somebody was like, "Let's break the windows," and the Black Lives Matter people were like, "Don't do that." And they're like, "No, let's do it." And they're like, "No, don't do that." And it was very clearly a plant. Somebody was trying to get this thing going, and then they like ran away. It happened in Minnesota, I think, also, where it was like, who you work for, buddy?
Yeah, something happened too, and it was actually they try to frame the MAGA people for it. I think they like drew a swastika and like wrote the N-word in graffiti or whatever on something, but it actually turned out to be people from the
it's over 30%. Look it up and pull it up. Over 30% on campuses, I want to say. Over 30% of all like hate speech on campuses, graffiti that are
is all from the left.
It's false flags. Yeah, it's somebody that did it to themselves.
I love it. Gaslighting you.
How much? That's what it is. It's manipulation. But everybody in the world is like, burn that school to the ground. Yeah, man. But so here I am, trying to embrace my inner, paper fascist. As I'm gonna, me and the people like me are gonna be the first Nazis ever to be like, "No, stop, leave us alone. We don't like it." I just take my shadow ban like a good little bitch.
Yes, you will.
And it's amazing. Last shadow ban happened in November of the last election. I feel like I'm shadow banned through. Maybe I'm making a difference, David. Maybe they hate me because they ain't me, bro. They hate me because they ain't me.
Yeah, I think, maybe.
But before we get into all that good stuff, let's get into old Joey B. Joey B talking about the crazy MAGA Nazis.
Oh, old man Joe, you let your country elect a senile old man.
It was you. Your people did it.
That's right. You let me do it.
That's right.
I walked right past you and I did it.
Oh, so much great stuff is happening. ESG, paperless society. Oh, these global billionaires are going to have so much control over our lives. And I, for one, am so happy for it.
Fuck it. I don't want control. You take care of it.
Who needs it? Who cares? Decisions? Free choice? Pah. Pah.
Yeah. Fuck drugs. I'll just live in the real world.
Telling you. I can't get through like a second on Twitter without, again, it's Breaking Bad every day for me.
Yeah.
I'm Jesse and he can't keep getting away with this. I mean, the lies are just insane. I mean, when you see people that you agree with lie,
yeah.
What's your thoughts on that?
I watch you lie every day. I'm just kidding. No, when I see people I agree with lie, man, it's like meeting your idol kind of when you find out they're a fraud and you're like, oh no, I believed, kind of like John Oliver.
But you kind of don't care though.
No, that's not true.
Speaking about John Oliver, go ahead.
Yeah. Well, John Oliver is one that, man, I loved John Oliver back in the day, 2016, that time. And then just kind of see him progress into a more very biased character. I see it. Which is like, it kind of sucks. We'll get into it, but inclusivity for inclusivity's sake. It's sort of just like, okay, I can very clearly see what you're doing. So when I see someone I admire lie, it hurts.
Starting to get pretty hollow, right? It's all starting to feel very...
it's like, okay, well, then what's real?
Yeah.
Who do I trust? I don't want to trust the people I don't like, but it seems like a lot of the shit they're saying is making sense to me.
Yeah, which is why I think I have a proposal for that, David. I think that we should make an act, since we're going to regulate everything, since we're going to have laws for everything. Why isn't there a disclaimer? We should always have a disclaimer about people's biases. Wouldn't it help, especially for news channels, for information channels, wouldn't it help to know how much for one candidate or another candidate that staff donated, don't you think that there should be a disclaimer for, let's say, John Oliver, if he has a staff of 50 people, at the beginning of the show, it says John Oliver's staff donated this amount of money to these politicians, ... during the last election cycle. And then people operate from a position of open bias. So, yeah, I mean, we don't need to worry about being manipulated or gaslit. We understand what your bias is, and then it's our decision whether to take your information at face value or not.
Yeah, it feels funky. It feels like weird to like know that and then watch it. It's like if at the beginning of the porno they're like, this woman doesn't orgasm. Just want you to know, just a disclaimer on it. And you're like, well, what the hell am I watching it for then? It's like this guy.
You make it all the way to the orgasm?
I fast forward to it. You watch it from the beginning?
Hey, I'm a writer, David. I'm here for plot. I'm here for character
also,
development.
it takes very short time for guys to come, so it doesn't really take me long to watch. But, yeah, I would, well, you'll cut that out.
All right. Well, you're safe in the new liberal world order.
Hell yeah, man. See, that's what I'm doing. I'm playing both sides.
Playing both sides.
Whoever wins.
You shouldn't tell people you're playing both sides, Mac.
Exactly. See, if one way, if it goes down the lefties, like, look at me. Look at my nose rings. You really think I'm over here making fun of Gerard?
Come on.
If your side wins, then it's like, I got a podcast with this guy. Like, of course I agree. Look. Come on, guys. Come on. I was joking.
Come on.
I was joking.
Yeah. Project Veritas, speaking of, we've been talking about it. We've talked about this a couple different times. And is it better to be the furthest left in a group of right people or the furthest right? Well, that right there. In the group of right people, the furthest left person has a job.
Yep.
And in the group of left people, the furthest right you are, your job is always in peril. Always in peril. Look at the Project Veritas just had an assistant principal up in Connecticut talking about the lengths he will go to discriminate against any conservative candidate whatsoever for teacher. For teacher. They won't hire you. They won't hire you if you're older. The younger you are, the more likely you are to listen to what they have to say, obedience, and be more open to progressive worldview.
That's an issue in Colombia where, like, after you're 32 or 36 or something like that, you're to a company, you're sort of useless, and they let you go or they push you to quit. And then it's so difficult to get. It's happening to my cousins right now where they're, here in the States, it's like you're prime.
Nah, it happens here in the States also.
Dude, but you'd be surprised how much it happens in Colombia.
No, I wouldn't, because it's a big thing in a lot of industries out here. It's a huge thing in the financial industry. Once you get to like 40 and you're making a ton of money, it took you, let's say, 15 years to build your book of business. So you walk in with recurring income, right? This is like a huge scam that they do in insurance industries.
Sure. Let me stop you right there, though. See, those are like high-paying, higher careers.
So it's easier to
this has
hire
happened to
three
like
people for
flight
less.
attendants and like
that's not good.
No, it's like for
good.
people in department stores.
Yeah. Colombia is a very sexy culture. It's like Leonardo DiCaprio. You're 25, get out.
Yeah, sort of, yeah. It's because of what you're saying. Yeah, the older you get, the more harder you are to control, and also, I'd rather pay some fucking 20-year-old nothing.
$6.
But you demand more because you have kids and all this shit. So it's okay. Thanks. I'll find some willing kid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Age discrimination. It's a real thing. It's a real thing. You know what else is a real thing? What Joe Biden said yesterday. Roll the clip.
Rolling the clip.
All right. That'll be our intro.
All right. Let me know when you're ready. I'll start rolling. Ready?
Why is there water running?
I left the tap on?
Yeah.
Oh, shit, my bad.
My ESG score just went. I want to lean into this whole idea of Joe Biden calling me a far right-wing fascist and advocating for me to get an F-16 because a gun's not enough to overthrow this government. Do you think anybody in Afghanistan was laughing out loud when he said that?
So
do you think anybody in the Taliban was like, yo, get a load of this guy, get a load of what this guy said? He said you can't beat the American government with just a gun. Look at this.
Yeah, that's the thing though. So now it's like, when you're at dinner with Grandpa and he like says something very racist or homophobic, and you're like, Grandpa.
Yeah.
I think that's what happened here. And you're like, Joe.
No, that was later in the speech when he said that he was the only white guy that was the lifeguard in
Yeah,
the...
see?
Did you see this or no?
No, but I can just tell by what you're about to say that it's like, Grandpa, you can't say that.
He said
it's
that
like,
this was,
Grandpa has.
Said this was an all-black part of Delaware, and he was the only white guy there, and he used the lifeguard. And it's okay though that they had the highest crime in the country at the time because they had the best basketball in the country as well.
Oh.
Actual quote, sitting president of the United States,
Yeah.
Joe, what's it, Blue MAGA Biden? Joe Dark Biden?
Jeez. Yeah, it's just, Grandpa's a little senile right now. We voted him because Orange Man bad.
He wants to smoke. Grandpa wants to smoke.
Grandpa doesn't know where he's standing. He almost introduced Barack to come out on stage, and now a word from your president. Like, he is in a whole different, like...
Did that with Kamala, too.
Whoops.
They also said, this is a man who had to be escorted away from the press by the Easter Bunny.
What?
Yes. You don't remember that?
By the Easter Bunny?
Yeah, this was Easter of this year. You don't remember that?
The Easter Bunny escorted Joe Biden?
Pull it.
What the hell have I...
They had to put a political aide in an Easter Bunny costume to make sure he didn't say too many words to the media that were there. Joe Biden got escorted away by the Easter Bunny. I can't believe you don't remember that. So for people that don't know, that was David the Commie there, everybody's favorite producer, David the Commie, over there in the booth. David, man, the rhetoric in this country leading up to the midterms.
Oh, no, I just found it.
Yeah.
Let me mute this real quick and put you on.
Feels like Easter was 4 years ago, doesn't it? We have Easter every 4 years now. Every month of
every World Cup, there's one.
Every month in the new normal feels like a decade.
I wasn't really escort. That's not escort. That's being guided.
Okay, thanks. Fake news. I'm sorry. He wasn't escorted away. He was guided away. The president
the Easter Bunny stood there and...
Did the Easter Bunny shut up and tell the president of the United States it was time to go? I just want to be sure. Did the Easter Bunny
honestly,
go,
that would be a better phrasing than escorted out.
Okay. Fair enough. Are you serious?
Yeah, I mean, I was escorted out of a club. That's different.
Yeah.
I was told I was taken out. I was escorted.
Yeah.
This guy was like, all right, Joe. I guess honestly, I mean, yeah,
you're working for a company, David. You're working for a company, and the CEO of that company starts talking, and the Easter Bunny comes up and goes shh, 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 and pushes him slowly away from the microphone. How confident in that company do you feel? Are you buying stock in that company?
No.
Yeah, I don't think so either. So however semantics we want to come across on this, whether he was guided or escorted or judged, however you want, the Easter Bunny outranks the president of the United States very clearly. Yeah.
The bunny was labeled Joe Biden's handler.
That's right. Also, the law and order stuff coming out of the left is hilarious to me. Again, was this only months ago, or was this years ago, or was this decades ago? All the gaslighting and manipulation is making it impossible for me to keep track of this stuff. Weren't they talking about defunding the police? Wasn't this defunding the police? Now, saying that the FBI may be going rogue is an attack on our democracy. How many attacks on our democracy are there right now? And really quickly, if the whole idea of what Joe Biden is saying, you can pull it up so people that don't know what we're talking about, pull up the link I sent you with Joe Biden saying all these right-wingers looking to take over the government and secure your freedoms. You're going to need a lot more than a gun. Well, if that's the point, then what's the whole point of the January 6th hearings? I thought that our democracy almost fell on January 6th because of a guy with face paint and a staff walk through the Capitol building. I thought that was the darkest day in America's history, and we need 15 weeks of show trials because a 60-year-old with cancer sauntered through the Capitol building. Now, apparently, 7 cops died, according again to Joe Biden, and people were carrying AK-47s through. I think he got Benghazi and January 6th mixed up. But pretty interesting that. Go ahead, play the clip.
Isn't this
Poorly produced?
poorly produced?
Yeah.
You got Benghazi and what mixed up?
What's up?
You said he got Benghazi mixed up with the
January 6th, obviously.
with the insurrection.
With the insurrection. Because if the idea is that you can't take over the government with a gun, then what is all the hand-wringing that we've been doing here over people walking through the Capitol building that their taxes paid for? So, we could just put it in post because we're recording, so we can just probably plop it in later. What do you think?
Yeah. Dude, it might be your internet, honestly.
Okay, could be.
Keeps lagging. No, you got good internet.
Yeah, should I pay out the ass for it?
Yeah, no, you got. It looks like you pay out the ass for how much you're paying. Why isn't this? Oh, could this be it? Oh, that's why.
What's up?
Gotcha here. Just gotta connect to the Bluetooth on this thing.
Oh.
Usually connects on its own.
It's Bluetooth.
Well, still doesn't explain why this isn't playing smoothly.
Can I make a suggestion to you, mate? I've said this to you before, and I'm going to say it to you again. You should do it for yourself, but you should do it also because it would help you with sales and perhaps even do something where you can teach. You should make yourself a checklist, mate, that you can turn into a PDF.
Yes. There we go.
All right, let's get a clean in here.
If this plays all the way. Okay. So here's the I'm gonna punch you in. Gerard, here's the clip that you were talking about with Joe.
And for those brave right-wing Americans who say it's all about keeping America's independent and safe, if you want to fight against the country, you need an F-15. You need something a little more than a gun. And for those brave...
So, yeah. Again, do you think the Taliban is sitting there watching that going, yeah? You think?
Yeah, I think that's exactly what they're doing.
Well, actually, they don't have to. They think, didn't we leave them F-15s? Merry Christmas, Taliban. Oh, man, oh, man, oh, man. We're giving $1.1 billion to Taiwan. It's not enough to give billions of dollars to the Ukraine. Now it looks like we're going to give $1.1 billion to Taiwan. Yeah, why not? Dude, the vault is open. Whoever wants it, the vault is open. Yeah. Go for it. You guys won. The international globalists won. They got their people in office, and now they got the key to the golden vault. And congratulations, David. You, as a commie, are going to enjoy the ushering in of this global communism. And we now, as American citizens, are officially debt slaves to the global billionaires. How do you feel about that, bud?
Well, as a commie, I feel great. That's why I play this role, baby. Gonna be on when the school shooter comes in, he's gonna be like, hey, you're cool.
Hey, David the commie, right? That's right.
That's right. You're good.
It's like Mean Joe Green throws you. Remember the old, the very famous Coca-Cola commercial where Mean Joe Green throws the kid a Coke. You know? It's like the school shooter throws you a magazine. Like, hey, kid.
Yeah, it's exactly what's gonna happen, and I'm ready.
Dude. All jokes aside, I mean, it's very, very strange to me how these people can just lie and manipulate and, just rob us right in public, and an entire half of the country carries water for them. I don't understand it. You're a big fan of John Oliver. Jill Stein dunked on John Oliver yesterday on Twitter because John Oliver ran a segment about how this administration canceling $10,000 student debt is one of the best things to ever happen to the American public, and how it's going to stimulate the economy. Meanwhile, Jill Stein, of all people, from the Green Party, far left candidate, but far left libertarian candidate, meaning that she doesn't believe in any authoritarian. She's one of those crazy we should all work together commune people. The Green Party, the Ralph Nader Party.
Yep.
She dunked on John Oliver with a clip of him 2016 lambasting her for saying we should cancel all student loan debt. He's like, but how are you going to do it? How are you going to do it? The devil's in the details. Well, apparently not anymore. So, 6 years later, John Oliver, I'm sorry. I get all these, pasty Warby Parker wearing lefties, late night lefties confused. You'll have to forgive me. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Also, I mean, this isn't like he said it yesterday and it's like today he's flipping. Like you said, it was 6 years.
Oh, yeah.
A lot has happened in those 6 years.
100%.
Couldn't you play devil's advocate and agree that, well, opinions change and things change as things change?
Sure. It seems like a lot of people.
So it's like I have to fully believe whatever I said 6 years ago forever?
No, it's a great point. You don't. However, you should acknowledge your positions. I think my biggest.
Yeah, you should. You don't have to, though.
I think my biggest problem with media in general is that they don't acknowledge their own bias. Right? Like, very simple.
Do they have to?
Yeah, I think they do, because they're, going back to what we talked about last week with Eric Weinstein, where he shows that people are going from news to commentary, from commentary to narrative, from narrative to actual spin, where if the facts don't fit what I'm trying to say, I don't even report them, right? That's something that it should be acknowledged, right? I think one of the easiest things in the world that we could do, and it's odd to me that we don't do it, is just acknowledge your bias. Like, acknowledge your bias. Like, it should say.
So you think this is a case where John Oliver is being biased?
Of course it is. Like, John Oliver, at the beginning of the show, let's say, okay, we have all of these regulations and all of these disclaimers now. You can go on Disney Plus and there's a disclaimer that this was filmed 100 years ago, and the misogyny and patriarchy you're about to see, and then you're like, oh my God, what am I going to watch? And it's Aladdin. You're like, okay, all right, fair. Whatever. Why not that? Like, how about a disclaimer before every show that says, let's call it the Fairness and Openness Act, or whatever the hell, whatever rainbows and butterflies they want to put on it. Whoever John Oliver donates to, whoever anybody in his staff donates to, is disclosed at the beginning of every show. John Oliver has a staff of 50 writers. Him and his 50 writers donated a combined $2.5 million to these 4 campaigns. Would that not give him more credibility?
Yeah, I would. Also, really split him. Like, it's like, it would.
Or is he hiding? Is he still hiding behind the fact that he's a comedian? Are we still doing that? Are we still doing that?
I think so. I don't know. That's odd. I don't know how I feel about that. Because in a way, it's like, well, what's my fucking business? What do you care?
Well, because they're presenting
Well,
news.
yeah, and then it's like, well, because they're presenting news, so you want to see what side he's on.
Well, because we've gotten to a point where, give me some solutions.
I don't disagree with you, but it just feels weird.
Give me some solutions. I can't live in this world anymore. I can't live in this world where there's different realities. I can't live in this world where I have no idea what's real and what's not. I can't live in this world where I'm wearing a jacket in Florida in 90-degree heat.
Yep, I can't live in that world either. Thank God.
I mean, come on, man. It's too much. Have you seen the Black Tape Project? We've gone insane.
I want to just say, ladies and gentlemen, those are the guns Joe Biden was talking about that you need. Those are the guns.
Body by pickleball, baby.
That's what he meant when he said you're going to need more than AK, whatever the fuck he said.
Yeah, right.
But you can't live in this world anymore.
This right here is an AR 22 and a half, buddy.
Yeah, there you go.
You can't 3D print this thing.
No, sir. Is that an extra small?
Hey.
Oh man,
tight around the neck.
Yeah, the rules. It's hard to play a game when the rules change in the middle of it. You think you're playing basketball, all of a sudden it's like, well, why don't you pick it up?
Are we trying to move together? Are we trying to move together as a country, or are we trying to break up? Let's start there.
Babe, I think we're trying to break up.
We trying to break up?
I think we're trying to break up.
So let's break up. But you can't make half the country live under rules that they don't want to live under. That's subjugation. That's repression.
Yeah, you can if you hit them hard enough. We're talking. It's like we're talking about that.
Might makes right.
Analogy of like we're just dogs essentially, where it's like. I love you, but it's only I love you because, I hit you and I feed you and you'll do what I say or else I fucking hit you.
I love you as long as you're obedient.
Yeah, I love you as long as you're obedient. So Yeah, it's exactly that.
I mean, but that is the Karen left. That's the left. That's the Baizuo, right? Like, you know, look at the people that, you know, went after everybody in the parks during COVID. They weren't crazy right-wingers. It was the crazy lady that's like, I hope all you kids get COVID and die. You remember that lady? It's like, Jesus. Yeah. Go inside and stay safe, because if you keep playing, I hope you get COVID and die. They just do. They love power. They love people doing what they say. They've given up their personal autonomy to a higher power. Their politician is their god, is their priest or whatever. And anybody that doesn't do it is a threat to them mentally, because they're like, you can't question it. It's you're a heretic. And they're awfully silent now after calling for all of us to die. I mean, literally, this is not hyperbole. There were people, especially where I was coming from, that would have rathered I died than been right about COVID. And I was right, because we can talk about it now on YouTube. And we weren't allowed to talk about it a year ago. Just the fact that they wouldn't let us talk about it. How about the fact that in the UK, you can sue for wrongful death and malpractice or harm that the vaccine did? But, whoa, I thought the vaccine couldn't do any harm.
Yeah.
You know, and which doctors do you listen to, too? This whole idea of trust the science, and which doctors do you listen to? Who would you rather listen to? Would you rather listen to doctors that are out there getting paid millions of dollars by pharmaceutical companies, or doctors that are literally have everything to lose by telling the truth?
Yeah.
Why would these doctors come out, and why are these doctors coming out? You know, I forget her name. You know, forget Robert Malone and Kennedy, guys that, you know, writing books and, you know, they have profit incentives behind it. I'm talking about the doctor in Ireland who 2 years ago came out and said, this mRNA is weird. You know, I'm not saying it's bad. I'm saying that the testing that we've seen is inconclusive. And before we do anything of making this compulsory, we need to have more data. And she was shunned. She was kicked out of whatever the equivalent of disbarred is. I believe her license to. Are you all right, man? You're kind of fucking with me.
I'm good.
You're good.
I'm scratching my eye.
Shit. All right.
Oh my God, Gerard's constantly on his toes.
I don't know what's going on over there. You want to go ahead and throw that bad boy on silent so it doesn't go off 3 times like last episode, or?
I didn't go off 3 times, so I'm a popular dude. But as far as like YouTube, like you're saying, you can't talk about it on YouTube and all that. It's odd because they almost have like a monopoly on you, right? Like Zuckerberg owns 2 of the 3 major platforms where people share stuff.
Mm-hmm. More WhatsApp.
Oh yeah. Well, I'm talking about social media. WhatsApp is more of a communication thing, but so it's like. Yeah, technically it's their house, their rules. You know, I don't want shoes in the house. Why? That's weird. Well, I don't fucking care if you think it's weird. I just don't want shoes in the house.
Yes and no. We give them a lot of money. They get a lot of taxpayer money. They get a lot of subsidies, and they get tax breaks, and they get, you know, breaks on monopoly. So there's a yes and no to that. It's kind of like, it's more like if you're living in your parents' house, their rules.
Yeah.
But they start charging you rent, you start getting a say.
Well, what rent are they charging us?
They get tax dollars, bro.
From what? Like for what?
They get a ton of tax monies. They get a ton of tax incentives. In many different ways. They get them on state levels where, you know, if they come into, you know, a location, they get a 30-year tax abatement. I mean, they get tax money for research and development. They get contracts. They work in. They're not completely private sector. They are very much close to a public-private partnership with the amount of money and the interaction that they have with our governments at the state, local, and federal level.
Yeah, but that's the other thing. It's like that sort of you know, whatever legislation that allows them to get that sort of money is part of the game, where if like it kind of ties into capitalism in a weird way, where like if you are, you know, such an entrepreneur like Mark Zuckerberg and you create something as powerful as Facebook, then you do get access to those tax breaks and all that shit. It's just part of the fucking game.
Well, that's So now we're going to
So it's like it's not.
hold on, because we got to be clear, because we're getting into the weeds on that. That's actually not capitalism. That's something called corporatism.
Corporatism.
Which is different than capitalism. And most people who are anti-capitalism roll their eyes like you did. And corporatism is...
Well, to be clear, I'm not anti-capitalism.
No, I know you're not. But it's a clear distinction to make, because capitalism is the idea of an open and free and fair market, where corporatism is the idea of using your power, your money, and your leverage to make your competition at a disadvantage legally. And that's an important distinction. For example, me and you, let's say that we find gold doubloons down in the Atlantic, and we make $1 billion off of them. And we're like, you know what I've always wanted? I've always wanted to open up an NFL franchise. Hell yeah, let's do it. And we're gonna make the Fort Lauderdale, Hooters girls, whatever.
Sure, yeah.
Can't do it. We legally can't make an NFL franchise. We'd have to go to the NFL. The NFL would have to let us in. We can do a professional football team, but we'd have to start our own league. And then even when we started our own league, there would be television rights and stadium rights that we don't have access.
Yeah, but that's not something that's illegal. It's just like you can't.
Yeah, but it's restricted access. So what I'm trying, and you know what? That's
but not by the law.
Yes, it is.
There's a law that says we can't start a team. It's just part of the
law is the wrong word. There's regulations that say. You know what? No, I'm going to concede. You're right. It's not against the law to do it. They've created so many roadblocks and so many hurdles and so many regulations that it would be almost inconceivable while not being illegal. Right? Same thing if we wanted to lay down.
Well, yeah, but that's just because it's the NFL and that's part of the club. Like if I had a very high club and I didn't want you to be a part of it, I'll just make it super hard for you to get a part of it. There's nothing wrong with that.
Could you send satellites into outer space and start a new cell phone carrier tomorrow? Can you put up? I mean, there's so many things. Could you start drilling for oil in your backyard? Could you start digging?
No, because those things aren't as easy as just like doing that. Like you can't just send up satellites. Obviously, there's like so much that goes into it.
It's just money. Well, like why can't you?
Sure. I mean, eventually, look at Elon Musk.
Could you, dude? Let's just keep it very, very simple. Keep it very simple. In your backyard, could you start digging straight down? In the property that you own, can you just start digging straight down, looking for minerals and, limestone and oil?
No, because there is city limits and all this shit.
Sure.
Yeah.
But also those regulations that are in place to help the people, they happen to be incentivized by these massive corporations who own pseudo monopolies on these rights.
So you're saying that there is a massive corporation that limits me from drilling, like a private company essentially, like a Facebook that limits me from drilling in my own backyard?
Oh my God, yeah. It's a huge thing in California too. Huge thing in California and Texas.
What companies do that?
Well, most of them, the number one is ExxonMobil is the number one. ExxonMobil makes it so that, through environmental protection, we're getting way too in the weeds on it, but you can't just get an oil rig and start drilling for oil. You can't.
Right.
You can't just buy one.
Sure, that's fair. That's like you can't buy an oil rig same way I can't buy I don't have an example right now, but it kind of makes sense. Like that's something that's an industry thing where you probably need a license. There are some rules that eventually can lead to you buying an oil rig. Sure. It's probably fucking a ton of hurdles, but eventually you could probably get there.
That's the idea of corporatism though, right? So the idea of corporatism.
So back to
hold on, because it's very, very important because it's not capitalism. So who is behind, let's say, a $20 minimum wage?
I would say, the government in some sort of capacity.
But it's going to be guys like McDonald's. It's going to be guys like Walmart. People that you think would be against the $20 minimum wage. They're actually very much for it because they have no plans, zero whatsoever, to ever pay it. They'll get a $20 minimum wage passed because they have the money to automate those jobs. Meanwhile, the mom and pop shop down the street, the little farmer's market, they can't pay people $20 an hour. So by advocating for the government to increase minimum wage to $20 an hour, they get the positive press that these guys are for the workers. But really what they're going to do is they're going to fire everybody. There's going to be no jobs for anybody that's an unskilled laborer at that level. Right? Because what these mega corporations are doing, and this has been incentivized through the Inflation Recovery Act, mind you, they advocate for this and they get the positive press, $20 an hour, and then they get rid of all those jobs because they have the money and the finances and the wherewithal to do so. Whereas the mom and pop farmer's market doesn't.
Okay.
Right?
Sure, that's fair.
So that's the idea of corporatism.
Okay, but that doesn't really form a parallel with the Facebook example of like, well, here at Facebook, you can't talk about this and this and that. It's my house, my rules. Because it's just essentially that. It's my house, my rules. And yes, I guess some of our tax money goes to them through legislation that has allowed businesses of that magnitude to receive that. But again, that's just
they're also allowed antitrust laws and anti-monopoly laws that we're not, right? We just saw it with Andrew Tate. I mean, in the same day, Facebook, Meta, whatever, Instagram, Facebook. That makes sense, right?
Yeah.
That's one company, goes down. Twitter's another company, goes down. Google, YouTube, another company, goes down. Visa stops accepting his payments on his website. That's another company. That goes down. To me, I'm not an attorney. That's collusion.
Sure.
So now, how can...
but that's also speculation.
Sure, and that's what they would say.
Yeah.
That's what they would say.
But that's the thing. It's like, that's also the game where like, dude, kind of happened. If we all worked at a job, all our friends worked at the same place, you quit, then Nancy quits, then a bunch of people quit. It's like, well, why is everyone quitting? I should probably quit too. I kind of see what everyone is saying. Yeah, I don't want. So it's kind of like if all my friends, Facebook, Meta, they're also banning this person. Yeah, I'm not going to be the guy that stands up here. I'm going to have the opinion of the people.
If it all happens in the same exact day, though, that was predetermined and there was collusion.
Yeah, sure. Things move fast.
Move fast.
Yeah, I mean, but that's also speculation.
Could be. You know, but I mean, everything's speculation until it's proven. Right?
Exactly.
I mean, there's also correlation.
And if it was collusion, then what's the issue still?
Yeah. If it is collusion, what's the issue?
It's collusion against a guy making content.
That is the whole concept of antitrust and monopoly laws. Because when somebody has so much of the marketplace, you have no viable option.
Yeah.
That's the idea of capitalism. Now, the idea is, and this is where I get on conservatives all the time. This is where I've been loudly against Republicans with their bitching and their moaning about another liberal Hollywood movie. Make your movie. Make your movie. There's nothing stopping you. It's just money. Just hire people, invest in it. Oh, you don't like woke stuff? LeBron James is a billionaire. LeBron James puts out movies through Braun. LeBron James makes documentaries. And so his worldview, which is a black empowerment, leftist worldview, right, is going to be promoted because he invests in it. No problem with it. Fair play. 100%. That's fair play. Foul play is when Andrew Tate does the same thing Joe Biden does. How are you going to get rid of one guy for inciting violence? Meanwhile, this other guy is like, hey, if you got a gun, we got F-15s. That's inciting violence. If you're going to ban me or you're going to give me a shadow ban for misinformation, and Joe Biden's sitting up there on his own Twitter saying an AR-15 bullet moves 5 times faster than a regular bullet. It's like, that's the dumbest shit. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's 7 times.
It's ridiculous. Well, if it's not exactly 5 times too, because if they're going to get me for semantics that, the post I said had warriors instead of volunteers, well, then it better not be 4.9. It better be 5. The double standards. The double standards are the point. And again, you get to a point where you're getting called a Nazi, you're getting called a fascist, and you're sitting here going, I'm none of those things. I'm a wussy. Because, they have figured out a way that they can paint, an entire generation of American men as these crazy, traitorous monsters. Meanwhile, we just keep getting hit after hit after hit after hit, and we take it. We do nothing about it. We might bark a little, but they bite. We talk about it all the time. So we're the fascists. We're the Nazis. We're not the ones locking anybody up. We're not the ones shadow banning anybody. We're not the ones digitally gulagging anybody. We're not the ones deleting content. We're not the people calling for Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan said vote Republican. And now there's a whole new boycott Spotify now that Neil Young's back on. There's one side very, very, very clearly and obviously acting like actual fascists. Nonstop, constant escalation, constantly poking the bear, constantly. Come on, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? You're not gonna do nothing. That's what they're doing. And we're the little punk. We're the little bitch getting pushed over and just putting our head down and walking away. That's us. That's us on the right. You know, center right, center left. That's all of us. We're getting punked. And they're calling us everything that they are. And you just sit there and take it. And we say to ourselves, well, I mean, legally, is it really? It's just speculation. I mean, is it? Yeah, I mean, it could be a monopoly. Well, I mean, technically, it's corporatism. This is what we do. We have a conversation about the minutia and about how, you know, theoretically right we are. They take to the streets and they break windows until they get what they want. How many people on the left do you think? How many crazy progressive leftists? The wild shit that they say. How many of them have been taken offline? How many of them? How many of those people have been deplatformed? How many lies, I mean out and out lies, does Occupy Democrats say on a daily basis? And they don't even get their reach restricted. We're playing by two different sets of rules. And if you allow yourself to be treated that way, you're a punk. We're all punks. I'm a punk. Andrew Tate's a punk. Everybody on the right, everybody on the center, everybody in the center left, bunch of bitches. All of us. Every single one of us that we're allowing this to happen. That we're allowing ourselves to be lied to day in and day out. And all we do is just quietly roll our eyes.
And then continue to use that platform that we complain about.
Instead of making our own.
So question for you, just why don't you? Like if you get shadow banned so often, there's all this issue with all the censoring, why don't you move on to a Rumble or, you know, set up your own? Just like you said, go make your own movie.
That's exactly right, bro. Because I'm in a place where I need to sell tickets and I need to sell I need to create an audience where there's people. Right. So for me.
Yeah, it's kind of like going back to your example of being at your parents' house. It's like, I hate this place. I can't wait to move, but I need to stay here because I need food and shelter.
Kind of. You know, and there's how many people stay in an abusive relationship specifically because it's more advantageous to be getting the shit kicked out of yourself with 4 walls and a roof over your head than it is to be homeless. Right? That doesn't justify the abuse. That doesn't justify, you know, what's happening to you. Doesn't justify it. Right? And I think that kind of that, you know, that's honestly that was the old, you know, on a very different level, obviously, but that was the old, you know, separate but equal. That was the segregationist argument. Like, how bad do you really have it? Like, how? Yeah. All right. Your water fountain is different than my water fountain, but at least you have a water fountain, right? Like, what are you going? You make your own water fountain, you know. But then what ended up happening when the anti-segregationists tried to do it themselves? The people firebombed Tulsa, Oklahoma. The people in power tend to want to keep power, right? So when you try to, what happens? What happened when, what was, to your point, I mean, what happened when Dan Bongino and those guys, they had that other social media network that went crazy when the shadow banning first started like 2 years ago. And everybody downloaded this app. In fairness, the app sucked. It was horrible. And the experience was terrible. Do you remember? And then like everybody was making fun of people for posting it. Like, I'm moving over to blah, blah, blah. I don't even remember what the name of it was.
Yeah, me neither, but I do remember what you're talking about.
But do you remember how it ended?
I mean,
Amazon took it off their servers.
And that's it.
That was it. So now that argument now becomes, well, why don't you have your own servers? Fair?
Yeah.
Fair. But also, to me, that also sounds like, you know, oh, you got punched in the face? Why don't you learn how to box?
But yeah.
At some point.
At
some point, David, both things, you have to live in a reality where both things are right. You need to learn how to defend yourself and stand up for yourself.
Correct.
just because the other person can doesn't mean they should.
Sure.
And the people on the outside have to make that qualitative judgment. Right? Like, and I guess my thing from my rambling rant here becomes I keep waiting for my friends, my reasonable friends on the left to be like, nah, man, you know what? This is screwed up. This is messed up. Like, this ain't right. I don't want to be a part of the double standard. I don't want to be a part of it. And dude, honestly, the people who actually do hit me up, text me, DM me, a lot of my black friends, a lot of my friends that were ex-teammates of mine, they feel very, very, very uneasy in this moment because they see a lot of this like militant anti-whiteism, I guess would be the best way to put it. And it is militant, you know, especially on college campuses, where they're like, I don't want to discriminate because I was discriminated against. I don't want to discriminate. Like, I don't want to become the thing that I hated. And they have such a keen eye for prejudice and discrimination because they've experienced it, that now that it's flipped in some aspects, they want nothing to do with it. And they hate more than anything the you know, the clout culture. Like, these people acting like a victim or finding, you know, these Ivy Leaguers finding oppression around every corner. They can't stand it. Especially guys that, I mean, these are guys that, you know, make over 6 figures, highly successful dudes. They're sitting here like, I don't need this blue-haired college white girl to save me. I'm doing pretty good. You know, great friends. That's kind of like, Madge Tory talks about it all the time. He's like, the biggest story in America that nobody's talking about is how, you know, libertarian adjacent urban America is becoming. And they're like, I don't want any of your rules. And none of us asked you to defund the police. Not a one of us.
Yeah.
So who is winning right now in the moment? If normal everyday people, I'm trying to collect my thoughts because I'm a little all over the place here. Forgive me. I keep waiting for somebody on the left. I keep waiting for somebody in the group that is winning per se, in the group that is part of the prejudice, to be like, bro, this is messed up.
Well, there was that you mentioned last week that there was this one character, and forgive me, I forget who it was or his name or what he even does, that called out something that I think CNN was doing. I think he's
Eric Weinstein.
Was it Eric? No, it wasn't Eric Weinstein. It was this other guy that's on the left, and he's pointed out a bias. So there are some players, big players, that are speaking up, being like, okay, this is getting a little crazy.
Yeah.
So
what are your personal thoughts on it?
Dude, I agree. I mean, and I tell you about all the shit that kind of pisses me off and all the things that, like that Joe Biden thing where he's still building the wall and everyone that bitched about Trump doing it is pretty quiet and just chill about it.
Yeah. And
then just seeing the clear bias by CNBC being like, it's so they are safe. That's when I'm like, well, no, fuck you. Mm-hmm. What the hell? This is so blunt. Like that pisses me off. And I do believe that it is getting on a dangerous level of, yeah, do what I say, feel bad for what I feel bad for, or else you are a homophobic, xenophobic, racist.
Yeah.
Fuck you. Like, why do we have to play always by your rules? So, yeah, I mean, I do agree with you on some things. Other things, it kind of is, like the whole Facebook shit is kind of like, dude, they're just playing the game way better than any of us.
Yeah, but they're shutting people down, though, David. Like people are not playing by the same rules. I mean, it's two completely different sets of
but they make
enforcement.
The rules.
It's two completely different sets of enforcement. I think
sure, but it's the favorite child in the house. It's the one that brings in more money. It's the one you want to be.
Okay.
So it's like, yeah, dude, they are, but they get to fucking make the rules.
Yeah. That I can't disagree with. And that once again shows how feckless and useless Republican leadership is. And don't even get me started on libertarian leadership, like where that exists. You know, thanks to Dave Smith and the Mises Caucus, at least the Libertarian Party gets some they get some love online, or at least they're getting to be included in the conversation because they've taken to full-time trolling. But, you know, the argument becomes, if you are able to silence your opponent, especially as we move to this era of everything becoming public-private partnerships, which some people may call, corporatism, could call fascism, and this is the argument from every, theoretical existential socialist is like capitalism will always become corporatism, which will always become fascism. To which my reply is maybe, but that doesn't mean we should skip all those steps and go straight to fascism, which is just nationalist communism, nationalist socialism instead of global socialism, right? The idea for people, and this is where the World Economic Forum comes in, the fourth industrial revolution. The idea is communism will work. The reason communism hasn't worked is because they haven't had access to all the resources. Communism can only work if they have access to all the resources. Otherwise, the capitalists will cut out their greedy little holes, and because it's a better life in the interim, everybody will gravitate towards capitalism at the expense of the whole.
That's the whole communist.
That's the communist ideal.
The pitch.
That's the communist ideal, is that capitalism is better in the interim at the expense of the masses long term.
That's pretty similar to like a hacker's pitch of like, I just need control of your entire system so I can fix it.
That's it.
Just give me your passwords, everything, and then I can fix it. If I don't, then
all I need is everything.
All I need is everything.
And I'll make you safe.
And I promise I won't change the passwords once I'm in.
That's right. That's what's happening right now. That is the World Economic Forum pitch. The World Economic Forum pitch is that all of us multi-billionaires and in these corporations need to get together and save the planet from these evil humans. These humans they're using all our resources, they're destroying the planet, and they're doing it for a cheap buck. Us, good, noble multi-billionaires, we don't need the money in the moment.
Yeah.
So we can think long term. Governments can't think long term. They can only think from election to election. We could put together a 25-year plan. They're starting to call it ESG, environmental social governance, where they are going to, it's actually super brilliant. Got to give these people credit. They know all the pressure points all over the world. And the idea is that they are going to accumulate all of the wealth. They understand how wealth works in the 21st century, and it's debt, it's credit. We've talked about this as many times as I can talk about it. I'll keep talking about it. They're going to become the number one source of lending. And who are they going to give the money to, David? The people with high ESG scores. The ESG is going to be a social credit score. If you can, I sent you the link. Pull it up. Pull up ESG.
You want to pause right there for your call?
Michelle from Boca. Hey, did you make it back okay? It's Michelle from Boca.
Gee, are we taking a little pause?
No, I got 9 minutes. So
okay.
Yeah, sorry. I just got a text from a girl. What happened here? So ESG is incredibly important to learn. I don't know, man. I don't want to just jump into this shit like we did today. I wanted to open up a little lighter with that bikini stuff. So
it's okay. I think it's good to get into the nitty gritty.
Yeah. So I don't know. I when this is done, I might cut it up and put it up differently. But whatever. And I'll do like an intro, outro, like, hey, I am in Louisville this weekend performing. So we recorded this earlier. So blah 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 blah. But anyway, you got the ESG article pulled up?
It's ESE?
ESG. Okay. World Economic Forum. Do it directly from the World. I sent you the link, but do it directly.
You did? Okay.
Yeah, do it directly from the World Economic Forum.
No, I should have it then. Stakeholder. Oh yeah. Yep. Capitalism. Okay, here we go. Let me pull it up.
So everything that the World Economic Forum does is based on this thing called.
We got it up.
Okay. So if you read the World Economic Forum, if you go through the World Economic Forum, is this up on the screen?
It's the article. Yep. Stakeholder capitalism. Over 770 companies.
Before we go to this, let's just go to the World Economic Forum website and let's scroll through it. And you tell me the type of language that they use on their articles, and who are they appealing to and how are they appealing? Because they do this thing called, they're working off of the highest level of interaction between social engineering and AI. And they're going off of this theory called social emotional learning, meaning people don't care. They don't read anything past the headline anyway. They don't read anything above the fold. It's all headlines, download the information. I can figure out what's in the article from there. So what they do is a constant appeal to emotion. Nobody cares what the actual plan is as long as they agree with the sentiment. Do you understand what that means?
Yes.
Nobody cares how this is. Again, the left is brilliant at this and the right is trash at this. The right gets caught like these nerdy accountants with their glasses on going, how are we going to pay for this? Right? But all they need is the headline, I cancel student loans. We're saving the planet.
Yeah.
Right? Social emotional learning. I agree with that sentiment. These must be the good guys. AOC has made a career. AOC is going to be a billionaire on 3-word platitudes that are social emotional.
It's like leading the witness in a trial.
It's worse than that. It's
asking leading. It's essentially like, this is how you should feel about this issue, and it's in a headline. That link might as well be empty. Then is what you're saying. You click and it leads to nothing because people don't even read the article.
Last I checked, it's over 80% of people don't.
I would agree with that. I don't.
The fold. They'll click the link, but then they might read the first headline, the sub-headline, the first 3 sentences, get to the picture or the advertisement, and they're out.
Yeah.
So it's called above the fold. Nothing below the fold gets read. So social emotional learning, they appeal to emotion. Let's go through the World Economic Forum, their front page. Let's just see. Let's read down to the articles. Go.
Okay.
Headlines. Go.
We got, by the way, 5 minutes. So the first one is why a new social contract for high-performing teams is needed in the new world of hybrid working.
All right. There we go. What do we got? We got social contract and who? For
high-performing teams. Why it's needed for high-performing teams in the new world of hybrid working.
That's it. We need a new social contract. New social contract. Next.
Click on that, see what that is?
Nope. Next. Let's just read the headline.
Next is Germany's €9 transit ticket cuts 1.8 million tons of CO2.
There we go. So that's a good thing. Even though Germany right now is going through, and all of Europe is going through, a massive energy crisis where energy is going through the roof, and it's not even winter yet. Nobody's heat has been turned on. They're going through an insane energy crisis thanks to the new UN global policies. Anti-climate change and Putin's tax hike.
Yeah.
The actual good news here, the actual news here is good, folks, because CO2 is down.
Yeah. I would say the energy hike is also probably because of the immense heat wave they're having. They're probably running a lot more on the AC power.
Sure.
Same reason your power here goes up during the summer. So it's like, this is abnormal for them as well. So they're probably not, their grid is probably not prepared for this amount of energy this time of year.
Yes and no. The energy should spike in the winter more than it spikes in the summer, because you have options in the summer. You can go outside, go to a pool, go here. You don't have options.
But naturally, here in Florida, even your energy bill will spike in the summer because of the amount of air conditioning.
What did it go up? Before we move forward with this, what did it go up? It went up 5,000%? It's not a normal spike. This is not an everyday spike.
That's different because over here, our grid and everything is geared towards that. That's normal here. Yeah. So it's more, it's more controlled. It's expected. Yeah. While as in Europe, it's never this hot. And so I can see them working a little harder in the summer than they normally would.
Okay. And because they have an inefficient energy grid that's based off of social that's based off of ESG and rainbows and unicorns, but whatever, that's fine.
Why men can and should participate in the care economy too.
Oh, okay. So why men?
And this is with like a care for kids,
which assumes that we don't. First of all, second of all, what was that? Can and should.
Yeah.
More social engineering. Next.
Discover how sweltering urban heat islands are being cooled down.
Okay. Next. Climate change article right there. The Earth is on fire.
You're gonna love this next one. China drought alert. The other environment stories you need to read this week.
Oh, more climate crisis. Give us all your money or else the earth is going to burn. Next.
On the business perspectives, this is where Gen Z goes for financial advice.
Okay, that's probably... So who are they really going after hard here? First 6 articles. One demographic is being massively targeted. Who is it?
Gen Z.
Young women.
Young
women. Young women are being absolutely massively. So this might as well be.
You think young women with the German thing?
Yeah. Why men don't do what they should do.
Okay.
Hybrid working environments.
How's that for a woman?
How men are hybrid working environments. You can't remote work construction. You can't.
Yeah, but you can also remote work a lot of men jobs.
By far and away, the jobs that are offering remote work now are much closer to 50-50 male and female than anything on site.
Okay. Yeah.
Anything on site. Outside of nursing.
Sure. Okay.
All right, next.
Sweltering urban heat islands are being cooled down.
We got more climate change. The Earth
Oh,
is on
I'm sorry.
fire.
That's the same article. I thought you were asking for something else. All right. Oh, well, this is perfect to your point of how female-led startups can transform Africa.
Oh. Diversity, women in the working place. Next.
Carbon neutral and net zero. What do they mean?
Why not? Let's learn about why climate's more important than
China's heat wave drives up egg prices.
China again.
The Webb Space Telescope reveals distant galaxy.
Well, that's fun.
Activist Hindu Omaru Ibrahim on indigenous people and climate change.
Was she a female?
Yes.
So female we got diversity, female activism, climate change. They almost hit bingo. They almost hit bingo on that one.
Yeah, I'm sorry I doubted you. First one here, there's a section called Our Impact, and the first article is gender inequality, and it's a woman in a construction site, or it looks like a shipping container site, and it goes women in work, how companies in Chile reduce gender pay gap. Tackling the climate crisis with innovative green technologies is the following article. Stakeholder capitalism, over 70 companies implement
All
ESG
right, now we're there.
metrics.
Stakeholder capitalism is just a communism rebrand. For anybody that hasn't read Klaus Schwab's Fourth Industrial Revolution or The Great Reset, a book title, not a conspiracy, you should check it out. It's written on a 3rd grade reading level. You should be able to get through it in no more than 3 poops. And it's like a vision board. It's less of a book and more of a vision board for a world takeover. It's like, when I rule the world, I'm going to give everybody free lunch Fridays. It's insanity. And the fact that these people are winning, it just should drive you through the roof. Go ahead, pull it up, though. Let's look at these 70 companies. ESG. Can you pull up ESG first? What ESG is?
Sure. Can we take a quick break?
Yeah, go ahead. And then let's come back on ESG. Downer. It's nothing funny, no banter, there's no getting into serious shit. I want to do the ESG topic, and then we're going to do the bikini stuff in the beginning, and then I'm going to edit into this stuff, get into the serious stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, let's do it.
I'm waiting. They said they're calling now.
Oh. Let me charge my phone.
In and out. Oh, nope, we're pushed back to 7:30.
Perfect. Let's do this then. Just got this phone charger that's got every cord I've ever bought.
I'm proud to say I've never punched anyone in my life because. Hey, what's up, you guys? Hopefully you're doing well. What is your goal? No, what are you working?
Wish I could tell Caleb to fucking chill on the fucking.
Business hustle?
It's not the business hustle. It's the fucking. Ugh. I mean, he's trying to do the Grant Cardone, Patrick and David thing. You're 21 years old, bro. Like, I wouldn't go that route. I wouldn't go that route. And a lot of everything he's saying has been said, but that's kind of his thing. His thing is to like, huh?
Platitude, sort of.
Yeah. His whole thing is.
All right.
All right, we ready?
Sir.
Get ESG up so you can just go right to it.
The definition of it, you said?
Yeah.
Okay. ESG definition.
World Economic Forum.
Okay, here's an actual thing from World Economic Forum.
Yep. Environmental social governance, right?
Yeah.
Are we recording?
Yes. We are rolling.
Yeah, pull up the ESG before we get back into that article, just so people can understand what it is, because this is going to be the most important thing in our world economy going forward, as long as these people maintain control. And they have 70 companies on board already, and they'll have every company on board by next year, assuming that in America specifically, they would have already done it here. They were looking to do this. Brexit threw them for a loop. Getting out of this stuff is why Britain left the EU. Everybody that, Nigel Farage and apparently the Queen was like, why are we giving up our autonomy and our access to liquidity and our access to credit, and giving it to these global elites? We are the global elite. We're
Right.
Britain. Why are we doing this? Right. And in America, we're just so distracted and we couldn't care less. And in many ways, I think we're arrogant that we think we're insulated from their influence. Like whatever the UN does, we do what the UN does what we tell them to do, not the other way around. It's not that way anymore. The UN is the EU. The EU is the UN, is the Paris Climate Accord, is the World Economic Forum, is the WHO, World Health Organization. All these NGOs, these non-government organizations, they are the real people driving the ship. They are who is running the show now. All of these young leaders from the World Economic Forum are in positions of power all across the globe now. And, the people that are in these cabinets, they come from Ivy League schools. Huh? Yeah, I'm talking. They come from Ivy League schools. They come from... The Ivy League schools are a pipeline to these non-government organizations. These non-government organizations are a pipeline to high-level government jobs. So it's a monster that's feeding itself and only getting bigger and bigger and bigger. The only thing, like, for people that... It sounds insane. The only thing for people to understand, like, what it is, Hydra in Marvel. That's what this is. It's Hydra in Marvel. It's Cobra Command. It's... it's Spectre. It's literally a new world order in no Illuminati, in no sense of the way, in no fictitious. They are literally looking to break down the current order of the world and create a new one in their image. And they're looking to do it without firing any weapons. They don't want warfare or any of that stuff yet. And ESG, like we were talking about it off air. Albert Einstein, famous quote, "I know not what weapons World War III will be fought with, but World War IV will be fought with sticks and stones." This is the weapon. ESG is the weapon. The global financial system, digital currency is the weapon. You don't need to fight somebody who disagrees with you. You don't need to line up on the battlefield across from somebody. You just starve them out. You restrict their access. And this is why I feel so passionate about people being okay with their neighbors being silenced online, because I feel, although many could say it's a slippery slope fallacy, I feel the same people that are okay with somebody being silenced for their opinions online are going to be okay with people not being allowed to buy food with their digital currency for what they said online. And there's a big contingent of people whose reaction to that is, well, you shouldn't have said it. Well, you shouldn't have said it. Or, well, you should grow your own food. There's always a way to say the victim should have done better, to which I agree. If you allow yourself to be a victim, you got what was coming to you. Grow your own food. Learn. Fine. Don't allow yourself to be the victim. Learn to exist in this environment that is hostile to you. I agree with you. But at the same time, that doesn't mean you should be okay or, God forbid, complicit in that abuse, right? Because this is just the beginning. This is not the end. This is not a culmination. We are at the very tip of this iceberg, my friend. And ESG is going to change it all. That is a social credit score. You are a business, and your entire business, the entire world, operates off of credit. I don't know what the numbers are. I didn't do the research, but I would gather more than 90% of all businesses, small or large, in America, operate off of a credit line. Mm-hmm. All of them. Every single one of them operates off of a business line of credit. They do their payroll. They pay. I mean, how many businesses have to put out tens of thousands of dollars a month before they even get an invoice back in? I mean, arbitrage is the entire way of the world. I pay out $50,000 to get back $65,000. That's how most businesses work. Okay? Now, what happens when those people who provide that financing don't worry about your credit score? They don't worry about your ability to pay it back, which is essentially what a credit score is. It's an ability to pay back the money I'm going to give you. And due to the amount, it's numbers. You don't have to like a person. You don't have to agree with a person. Can they pay back this loan? It's financially advantageous for me to do business with people that I disagree with regardless, because you know what? They're safe. They're going to pay back the loan. I'm going to give them $100,000. They're going to give me back $107,000. And we're going to do that forever. We're going to play that game forever. Not anymore. Please tell the people what ESG is.
ESG, as defined by the WF, World Economic Forum, is it refers to the environmental, social, and governance aspects of organizations. Many organizations now report ESG-related information to reflect their non-financial story and the sustainability or responsibility of their actions.
But what is it? What does that mean?
Well, that's the way they define it. And that's, honestly, if you look up definition, that's all the real definitions you'll find. Environmental, social, and governance is ESG stand for.
Means whatever they want it to mean.
Yeah, essentially.
How carbon reliant is your business? How diverse is your business? Mm-hmm. How this, how that? They can manipulate anything that they want. You're going to do exactly what they say. You're going to hire who they say. You're going to run your business in their image. You essentially give up all autonomy for how you want to run your business, who you want to hire, okay? It's your business, but it's not anymore. It's a non-government regulatory system that's going to be ever-changing. It's going to be in their image. And if not, you're not going to have access to financing. Name some of the companies that are on this article, some of the 70 companies that are already on board with ESG.
All right. So this is from the World Economic Forum. Mm-hmm. And the list of companies, let's see if they're down here. Are they down here? Let me see. Well, we got Bank of America.
Sure.
Ginkgo Bioworks, which I'm not familiar with. Wipro.
Just do a quick scroll and see if any companies come to mind. We got Bank of America. Doesn't get much bigger than that to start with.
Yeah.
We got BlackRock.
Oh, here we go. Since January 1st, approximately 150 stakeholder. It's a separate link. So we got, here we go. Bayer, BP.
Okay. So that's
there's
huge, massive pharmaceutical company, massive petroleum and energy company.
I'm just going to name the big ones. Heineken.
Okay.
HP, Hyundai Mobis, Kia, LG, Manulife, Mitsubishi, Moderna, and NTPC, Salesforce. Let's see, BBVA. I'm skipping a lot. Hyundai Motor Company. NASDAQ. SAP, Sony Group Corporation, Tamer Group, UBS, Xylem, Allianz.
Yep.
Let's see, Bank of America, we said.
So the point is, every major company in the world is going to do this.
Yeah, Hyundai Steel. Oof.
So,
PayPal. I'm sorry, I keep interrupting, but they're like big ones. We're not talking about rinky-dink little companies. Dow.
Let's start with PayPal.
The Bank of Palestine.
Let's stop with there you go. Let's stop with PayPal, right? And this is all these things coming together. As you said earlier, it's all speculation, and it's true. It's true. You know. What's that famous logical fallacy saying? You know, correlation is not causation, right? So it's fair. It's all speculation. However, 87,000 IRS agents just, earmarked to be hired and trained. They're going to be armed.
Yeah.
Enough. eBay comes out with a policy 2 days ago that everybody has until November 1st to submit their personal Social Security number so they can get a 1099 form, and they have to claim taxes on anything over $600 that they've sold. To which I wrote, checkmate billionaires, because all this stuff is supposed to be coming after these grifter billionaires and these grifter rich people. The IRS agents are going after them, but also PayPal isn't going to release any of your money unless you give them your tax information. And Starbucks the same day says they're going paperless, meaning no cash whatsoever, all digital currency at every Starbucks. One of the largest consumer storefronts in the world is no longer going to accept United States currency.
That's
tender.
crazy.
No cash whatsoever. So the idea of going off the grid is going to be increasingly hard. They're going to know everything about your money, what you're spending, how you're spending it. And again, speculation, but if you want to see what the archetype for this is, you look at China right now. And what did we talk about last week? There's a big mortgage strike in China right now because the Chinese government decided people can't have access to their money. So what do? They don't get their money.
Yeah.
No amount of hand wringing, no amount of tweeting or whatever they do over there on their social media sites. No amount of anything is going to get them their money. It's not their money. It's the government's money that they give you access to. It's not their money. It's the government's money. The government will give you an allowance that you earned. That's where we're headed. And they're not hiding it. And this is not a conspiracy theory. ESG, if you are obedient to a government that you have no say in and you did not elect, that is what the World Economic Forum is. That is what the World Health Organization is. It is an NGO, a non-government organization. And here we are. I can just imagine, if there is such a thing as heaven, can you imagine the founding fathers up there looking at us like, what are you doing? Do you know how many of us died for this? No taxation without representation. They wanted to raise a stamp tax by 3% without giving us a say. So we lit the coast of a continent on fire for 4 years. And you people are just like, okay, all right, fine. I mean, they were wolves. How many generations of breeding and living in a tent and sitting by a fire and getting your food fed to you did it take before wolves became dogs?
Yeah.
We're dogs. We're a Labrador. I'm a big fat fucking
bulldog.
No, I'm a Doberman. I not a Doberman. I'm a Rottweiler. I look like I'd tear your ass up, but you give me a bone and I'll roll over. You can rub my belly.
Yeah, you take that Shadowban off.
That's it, man. I act like a tough guy, but what do? I do nothing. I bark from time to time. Let me back inside.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, master.
Well, see, yeah, it's true. And, you know, to your point, there's this crazy video of this IRS agent, one of the 87,000 they hired, you know, in action. I have it ready if you want to watch.
Oh, you talking about the wheelchair again?
No. Do you want to watch this video? It's crazy.
Bring it on.
Just put in your pocket. What was? No, I saw you put something in your pocket. What was that? What did you put in there? What was it that was in your pocket, though? Because it seemed interesting. It seemed like really interesting. What was it? No, you can tell me. You can tell me. Just tell me what's in your pocket. Let me see. Turn your pockets out really quick. Turn them out. Just turn them out. What is in your pocket?
Well, first of all, whose TikTok was that? We got to give a free shout out. Free shout out Fridays here.
That TikTok was the official. Let's see, Mussoliv MUSSOLINIV6.
Mussolini?
Whoops.
What?
I don't know, man, but it was,
what are you following, David? David the Commie? With Mussolini?
Listen. I learned from a legend of the game to never give up your sources.
Attaboy.
So yeah, but that's crazy, man. They're out here really. What you put in your pocket? What was that?
So ESG, you know, this is something that is it being talked about in your circles? Is anybody aware of it? Are they supportive of it?
I've only heard this as like the plot to an anime one time. It's like your social score. It's something similar. There's a one where it's a world where guns only work for those that have the right social score, the right mental score. It's a great anime. I forget what it was. I'm not really an anime watcher, but it was a really good one. Psychopaths.
Okay.
And so when you held a gun, so like there was this instance of like someone trying to use a gun to defend themselves, but they couldn't. And so it's the only like fantasy that I've heard of it. But now it's crazy. It's like, well, do I like you or not? Can you sit with the popular kids? It's weird. It's still kind of like a movie.
Does it concern you at all, or do you think, hey, this is a good thing because you know what?
No.
We need more diversity.
No, God, no. It concerns me to a great deal because that's all subjective.
Yeah.
Like there is, like you said, like with a credit score, it is based on a number that is like, well, could you pay? Have you paid in the past? It's a track record, you know. But this is just like, well, do you have enough gay friends?
Sure. It's like almost exactly what it's literally like. And then if you try to be like, okay, I'm going to play your game, you know, this is one of the things that ESPN always, every offseason, there's not enough black head coaches. There's not enough black coaches in the NFL. There's not enough, you know, there's a, it's a really good podcast with Ryan Clark and Tua and Fred Taylor and another guy.
Joe Rogan?
No. But they present things from a black perspective and, you know, unashamedly, nor should they be. But it's, you know, from the black perspective. And they had Mike Tomlin on, and they were basically taking Mike Tomlin, who is the head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers, quantifiably one of the greatest coaches in NFL history, taking him to task for not hiring more black coaches or having more black quarterbacks. And Mike Tomlin, you could tell, got a little uneasy about it. He was like, dude, there's one of 30 jobs in the world. I need the best people.
That's
care.
The issue.
I don't care who. And he was also like, I had a quarterback named Ben Roethlisberger. He was pretty good. And I'll remind you, I had, you know, 3 backup quarterbacks, Charlie Batch, Dwayne Haskins, that were black. So, you know, was I supposed to start Charlie Batch over Ben Roethlisberger here? And then they got taken to point to where it was like, wait, so now they tried to Kafka trap. I'm like, oh, so you're saying black coaches aren't as good as white coaches? He's like, no, I just have coaches that I'm familiar with, and we had a winning squad. So
I go for talent. I'm not
that's it.
Picking like if the best, you know, coaching staff were all Asian females, Guess who's on my fucking coaching
this
staff?
is-
That group of Asian females.
Couldn't agree with you more. So my question then to somebody that I was having this debate with about, you know, I hate when they bring in the social justice crap into sports, specifically because to me that was the one area where I just never saw it. Like if you were good, if you could ball, there's so few jobs and they are so coveted, your coach could hate you. You could have sex with his wife in front of him, and if you were gonna do well for the team, he'd play you.
Yeah, don't except for John Terry.
That's what I'm saying. But John Terry wasn't the guy that got kicked off the team, was he? Because dude could play.
Well,
He lost his captaincy.
yeah, well, and he also ended up just having to resign because everyone fucking hated him.
Sure. But the fact is, dude could play.
Yeah,
Right?
sure.
I mean, everybody's going nuts about the fact that the punter from the Bills is accused of sexual assault and he got released for being accused. That's a slippery slope. I get it. Deshaun Watson's been accused by 30 women, and he was only suspended for, 4 games?
Legend.
So, but the point is like, yeah, you're a punter. He's Deshaun Watson. So, but is there racism there? And I always say, like, there's way less white running backs than there is black coaches. How come nobody's like, there's only one white running back in the NFL? How many white cornerbacks are there in the NFL? In like the history of the NFL? Jason Sehorn? Like the one in my lifetime?
I don't know.
How much diversity does there need to be? Does anybody look at a basketball court and be like, there's not enough diversity? No, so the diversity always goes in one way. And they say, well, we're making up for historical injustices. To which I say, I wasn't alive.
Yeah, why is this my fault?
And why should I just take a back seat and be like, okay, no, I get it. Guys, everything that happened in the past, fine, whatever, sucks. But we have to operate from a position. Notice that they got rid of the word equality and everything is equity now. Everything, I deserve a foot up because you had a foot up. Well, then you try to say, actually, my family was poor in Ireland, and we came over here with nothing. Pfft, it's not my fault. Your family didn't know what to do with their white privilege. All right, fuck you, bro. I don't know
what else to say.
I got nothing else for you.
Yeah,
I got nothing for you. And there's people like you sit here and you want to weaponize empathy. I'm supposed to feel bad for. We talked about it 2 weeks ago, like Patrick Mahomes. I just don't have it in me to feel bad for you, dude. You grew up a multimillionaire. You've been a stud your whole life. You've had every single one of your dreams come true. You're a billionaire. You're going to be a billionaire before you're 30. I just don't have it in me. I don't have it in me to sit there on the PATH train headed to my 9 to 5 going, oh, man, I feel bad for Pat Mahomes. Just don't have it in me. I don't have it in me. I just don't have it in me.
Yeah.
And I go back to, our boy Chaz Palminteri, Bronx Tale. We'll talk about Mickey Mantle. What are you crying for? Oh, Mickey, Bill Mazeroski made Mickey Mantle cry. That's what you're crying? Mickey Mantle? Your dad can't pay the rent. See if Mickey Mantle will call. Yeah. And that's how I feel. Got better, worse, whatever. Lizzo gets on stage at the VMAs and says, support artists who support politicians that don't oppress people. And I'm like, is there a less oppressed person on the planet Earth than Lizzo? This woman doesn't suppress herself.
Stop it.
She doesn't suppress herself.
She has a thyroid condition, dude.
Shit. Her thyroid isn't even oppressed.
I'm just kidding. I have no idea if she has a thyroid or not. Or
so look, we all see where this is going.
Yeah.
And if you say it, you're prejudiced, you're racist, you're a white supremacist. I'm not a white supremacist. I literally have a Colombian commie over on my,
not a communist,
dude.
Just a joke.
You just can't operate in reality.
Yeah. Why didn't you get a darker Colombian? Why'd you get the white-looking one?
Why'd I get a male Colombian?
Yeah, why'd you get
God.
Yeah, why'd you get the ugly male Colombian?
Yeah, man. I mean, this idea of diversity for diversity's sake.
Man, it pisses me off.
I just don't understand it,
dude. I see it in some shows and some TV shows, and I'm like, well, I'm just turned off now because I see right through what you're doing. I get it. You want this public approval, and you see it because they show you all their diversity in the first fucking 30 minutes. This is these are like, it's so cheap, and it's like,
It's almost like they're,
dude, like if
it's like they're offering. It's like an offering to the gods.
Yeah, literally,
It's
like,
like an offering to the critic gods. Here, see people at World Economic Forum.
Look how inclusive we are. How I did it. Please spare me. And it reminds me of when you were little and you were told, like, you know, gotta play with him. It's like, okay, well, I only want people to play with me if you want to play with me, not because the teacher told you to. And then it's just out of pity. And it's like, well, you know, you're just doing it to get their approval. You don't give a shit about them. You don't give a shit if they're good actors, if they're going to look good in that role, if it furthers a career. You don't. You just want that public approval. And you're like, yes, you're a good human being. Yeah. And your ESG is going to be hella high when that thing comes in, my man.
You think back
and that's fucking sucks.
Think back to Morgan Freeman, man. Like, Morgan... Stephen King was apparently pissed off when he found out that Morgan Freeman was cast in the role as Red in A Shawshank Redemption, because Red was an Irish guy in the books. Red hair. Red was an Irish guy. He was like, you know, a tinker, normal, you know, shanty Irish, get anything for you. And Morgan Freeman makes that whole damn movie. He's so good. He's undeniable in that role, right? Yeah. So this, I guess, is the ESG argument. This is the diversity argument where, you know, and this is, I guess, where like the Rooney Rule from the NFL comes in, where, you know, if not for some sort of forced interaction, maybe Morgan Freeman doesn't get in front of that casting director, doesn't get in front of that director, doesn't get that role, doesn't get that opportunity. That's their argument.
See, but that's
it's tough to argue against.
That's a little different, though. That's a little different than when you bring up sports, because in acting, yeah, you go for the talent, but also it's like, what does that role call for? It calls for a white Irish dude. So I'm not really to blame if you don't cast a black old man.
Yeah.
Because, okay, well, that's what that role
Who nailed it.
Out of, you could say, like you said, if it wasn't for a forced circumstance or happenstance.
Yeah.
Because then you would have found, I don't know, someone else. Bill Burr might have killed.
Sure.
But I wouldn't really blame it, because it's like, well, that's what that role called for.
Yep.
Same thing as like The Wiz. They made, an all black cast.
Yep.
What you know, the fucking mayhem if they were like, well, we want an all white cast of Fat Albert.
Sure.
Well, what's wrong? What's wrong if they do that? Well, everything's wrong if they do that.
Yeah.
But why? Why can't a white person play Fat Albert?
It's the breaking of the four olds, because they would say, well, that used to happen, and that's then the white people would play black people back in the 1900s. So the historical racism, is
sure. Yeah, but that's the thing. It's like that's the issue with this nowadays, where you can't fucking call a spade, and it's like, well, back then, dude, what are we playing at here?
Again, it comes back to what we talked about before about being the victim, and also understanding the perspective of the abuser in a certain level, right? I feel, and I don't understand why this is even a controversial position to take, but apparently it is. I can understand how historical racism affects people, and I can understand how communities have been, decimated by systemic, quote unquote systemic racism. I can't understand how those people advocate for more government and a stronger government after it was the government that kept them down, but that's neither here nor there. But at the same time, I don't feel in any way responsible for it at all. And I also don't think that I should be forced to take a back seat in my career, or have to get second, third, fourth options, or have to kowtow to their politics in order to live the life that I see fit for myself. I can operate in that place where I can see historically where they're coming from, but at the same time, what's that have to do with me?
Right.
And that's the part I struggle with right now.
Well, you should feel guilty.
I don't.
Is the rule? Well, that's what the thing. It's like, well, you should. What's that have to do with you? Is that you, being a white man, white straight male, should use whatever power you have to try and bring them up.
Yeah, that's a weird thing,
and bring yourself kind of down at the same time.
Yeah, that's a weird thing. That's all over college campuses too. It's like about the only way to be
on the team.
Yeah, the only way to be it's not enough to not be racist. You have to be anti-racist.
You have to be well, that's
And the only way to be anti-racist is to be anti-white. This is actual rhetoric that's out there, and it's like, wait, because that sounds like you're telling me the only way to not be racist is to be racist. So like, wait, what? And that's kind of like what.
Well, it's not racism because you can't oppress the oppressor.
That was, you can't oppress the oppressor. It's prejudice, and I love when they do that. And it's like, it's not racism, it's prejudice. And it's like, yeah, that's still bad. No, it's bad. No, prejudice is bad.
Yeah.
Like
exactly.
you're quantifiably being an asshole. Yeah, but I'm being an asshole against white men, so it's not really that big of a deal. What do I do? Okay. And again, because this generation of white men are such wusses, we're just like, oh, that's not fair. That's not fair. Instead, what?
Yeah.
I mean, what should we do? I mean, you asked me something before the show today that was interesting, right? Like, hey, if you can't beat them, join them.
Yeah. I asked you, have you ever considered that, or would you ever, do you think, find yourself in that position where you're like, if you can't beat them, you join them?
Yeah,
and it's kind of back to that point of what we spoke last week, where your buddy was like, if only you would stop all these, political commentary.
It wasn't my buddy.
Or I'm sorry, not your buddy, but whoever it was, he was
An
like,
executive producer.
oh. If he asked, well, if you just stop all these conspiracy theories.
Yeah, I'll let you have a career.
Yeah. Well,
I'll book you on this thing that I think you'd be perfect for.
Yeah.
That might change your life if only you would ignore the truth.
Yeah. Well, if like the dream position, the dream role, the dream whatever it is comes along, but it's like, okay, you kind of have to, it's sort of a scenario of like you couldn't beat them, so you have to join them now. Would you take that?
I had this conversation in depth with our boy Mickey Gall. And Mickey's got a great quote, and he says, the only person that doesn't kiss ass is the janitor. So, I've thought about this.
I actually really like that quote.
Yeah. I think what'll end up happening is there'll be a breaking point. I've already ran away. I'm already in some levels ashamed of myself that I left Jersey and I left New York and I literally left my family behind. Yeah, because dude,
you consider it running away?
How could it not be? I didn't fight for change there. I didn't advocate. I had roots. I put up a business and it went out of business. Government helped me go out of business through crazy regulations and a 90-day hold where I was paying rent for 90 days when they wouldn't send an inspector out because basically I didn't grease the wheels. I didn't give a bribe to the inspector basically.
Yeah. I think that's a bit harsh to say you ran away.
No, but I did. I literally did though, because look, this is new to the world, but it's not new up there, right? So like, I mean, I'll just call it what it is. I was a straight white male who was very obviously not ashamed of it, and it became impossible to work in Brooklyn and Jersey City.
The audacity.
Yeah, it became impossible. Like, unless you were a socialist, you weren't getting gigs, man. You weren't getting gigs. Even more so, as a comedian, forget the commercial work. As a comedian, I stopped getting bookings. Here I am, my social media is improving and my set's improving and everything, and I'm already past in these clubs, so you think I should be getting more bookings. I'm getting less. Right? And it's because I wasn't on the team. And it became so obvious. Yeah. And especially hilarious when all these people that carried water for these legit commies up there. Like legit. Like Bill de Blasio. Actual communist. Sandinista. So they carried water for these guys for years on every single show. And then when they shut them down, and they were starving artists out there. And they were so sad. Bill de Blasio, I can't believe you would do this to us. And I'm just sitting here, at that time, either in Nashville or Florida. And like, oh, really? Oh, really? Oh, the government doesn't love you anymore, huh? Aw. Who could have seen that coming? Yeah. And now them turning around. How am I supposed to pay my rent? Aw. Yeah. Oh, isn't that how you treated me? Oh, Gerard, you can't get bookings because you're white. Oh, it's so hard for a white guy in this world. Oh, somebody shed a tear for the white man. Oh, okay. I left. You win. I leave. I'm gone. You win. So I flew. So join them. Now I'm down here. I gotta tell you, bro, they bring this shit to my door again. Where else am I gonna go? Ooh. They bring it to my door again. What do I do? Yeah.
Gotta join them.
Well, then I got an option, right?
Yeah.
You either don't join them, and you become an example because you can't beat them, or you do join them. And I think what would end up happening is like I'd probably end up doing like what Vladimir Putin did, or what who's the guy who owned the Nets and the guy who owned Chelsea. Like, yeah, all right, I'll play your game, and I'll play it so good. Like, I won't care at all because I tried to warn you.
Yeah.
I tried, people. I tried to tell you what was coming. I tried to tell you what they were doing. And I will have, all right, now I'm on board. I'm a party member. I'm all in. But, hold on 1 second. I'm getting a call from JetBlue.
Uh-oh, they heard you.
Hello?
Hello, is this Gerard?
Yeah, this is Gerard.
Gerard.
So, Gerard, good afternoon. My name is Antonio Hines.
Uh-huh.
Feel free to call me Antonio. How
Okay.
are you, Sir Gerard?
I'm doing all right, Antonio. What's going on?
Okay. Well, Sir Gerard, I want to be respectful on our time.
Okay.
I know you're a busy man. Basically, I came up with a business to represent my company. It's named Today Capital.
Okay.
We basically do finance for business.
It's a Shark Tank.
Okay.
And in the month of September, we are running some promotional programs. We have your business much qualified for those programs. So we are
Which business is that?
unsecured loans.
Which business is that?
My business name is Today Capital.
No, my
finance department.
Yeah, my business that you said was qualified.
I got a name here, sir. It's like Endless Summer Athletic Club.
Oh, okay. All right. I gotta tell you, I'm busy now at the moment, but please feel free to call me back tomorrow. Okay?
Any good schedule, sir?
Yeah.
Gerard?
Yeah. Tomorrow, anytime.
Anyway,
JetBlue.
Before I let you go, sir, Gerard, I must
I'm
say
very
that
busy.
you
It's
look
just very busy. It's just crazy how busy I am right now.
I'll call you back
Thank you.
tomorrow.
Appreciate it. Bye.
I
Yeah.
wanted to know what he had to offer.
It's good. Any amount of money I want for 75% rate. As long as my ESG score is good.
Honey, why is JetBlue texting
Yeah.
you at 2 a.m.?
Wild.
Why did it show up as JetBlue?
It's probably that's how you know it's legit.
Yeah. Today.
Yeah, what was I saying?
Today. Think about you eventually becoming a communist.
Yeah, dude. I mean, listen. Like, I just, it's like
Then
when
it'll be me in that seat.
yeah, when I was a bouncer, right? Like I'm a bouncer, and I would walk down the line, and I'd be like, all right, $20 to skip the line. There'd be a line outside around the block to the Club 118, and I'd be like, literally an hour and a half line to get into this place. And I'd walk down the line like, under my breath, $20 to skip the line, $20 to skip the line. And a group of 4 people would come over and they'd give me $20 each and $80. Now I'm making $20 an hour. I just made $80. I walk up in the front of the line and people are like, you can't do that. And I'm like,
I don't know how to tell you this. I just did.
feels like I did. Feels like I can.
Yeah, and then those people that left the line, what'd they do? They ran away.
Yeah. Like I'll be the type of person, I have absolutely no problem taking bribes. I will be the
A
most
man of integrity.
I will
see.
be the most corrupt person. I will have such disdain for my fellow man that we allowed this to happen. It won't matter. Wow. I'll rob, I'll steal, I'll have no moral restrictions whatsoever. And at some level I will literally have I'd go as far as to say a hatred for my neighbors that
I am gonna go out on a limb here. I'm gonna go ahead and say I'm calling your bluff. I don't think you'd be capable of that. I don't
I'd
think
like
you.
to say I wouldn't.
Yeah, but I think
Because I'm a man. I try desperately to be a good man and a man of principle. And I try desperately to leave people better than I found them. But I am also, and this is one of my great faults, I am a big match energy guy. If you're a bad person to me, I am so bad to you, you can't even imagine.
okay.
If you're good to me, bro, I will go to the end of the earth for you.
That's true.
But if you're not, I return it in kind.
Yeah, but I don't see you as being the kind of guy that would just kind of completely flip your character at that such of that degree. Like to say that you're, you know.
I'd like to say I'd leave, but they're taking over the world. Where else is there to go? When the United States falls, where else is there to go?
Sweden, baby.
Sweden, Davos,
Denmark,
Switzerland, next door. That's the headquarters of the World Economic Forum.
Netherlands. I don't know.
Elon, how long until Mars, babe?
There's gotta be an island somewhere that has no rule. You be king of that castle. No one's taking you down. Look at those guns. God damn.
I don't know.
Zoom in.
I don't know, man. Like, what's the recourse for people that just want to be left alone, David? Like, what is the recourse for people that just want to be left alone?
You go far into the Amazon. You build your little cabin. Carnivore diet.
What's the opinion of the young Democrat, the young left, about the people who just want to be left alone?
See, for them, it's what they're fighting for, right? Like all these people just want to be left alone. They just want to be accepted. And it's kind of like that family joke. It's like, oh, well, my bad. Do whatever you want all the time. It's like, but that's their extent of it, is like, I want to do whatever I want all the time because I should be able to.
Yeah. I mean, there's a certain narcissism about this generation.
No, there's a gigantic narcissism.
I don't, this idea of like the rhetoric and the straw man behind, if you've paid off your student loans and you're mad that somebody else is getting help, well, that just goes to show what a bad person you are. And it's like, well, what's the other side of that? Like, wait, so everybody else should have to pay because you don't want to? Like,
yeah.
And what does that say about you?
Yeah, exactly.
How come it's always somebody else? These are my pronouns. Okay. What's it say about you that I have to speak your language? Like, what does it say about you?
Yeah.
Like, okay, fine. At what point, what is the final goal line here? Like, tell us what the goal is. All right. If you're a progressive, if you're a hardcore progressive, one, you're not listening to this show. Two,
yeah.
Ask one of them, like, what is the goal? Equality. What does that mean?
Yeah, at what point?
Give me a finite goal. Like,
yeah.
What is the goal? Like, what are we working for? You're making us sacrifice so much. You're shoving a lower quality of life at a higher expense down all our throats, right?
Yeah.
Less energy, higher energy prices. Hey, everybody needs to have an electric vehicle. Also, please, if you're in California right now, please don't charge your electric vehicles. It's really heavy on the grid. Actual happening right now.
Yeah.
Mind-boggling. Mind-boggling.
Please walk.
Like,
Please stop walking.
Hey, I know it's a heat wave, but if you can just not use that air conditioning. Lower quality of life, higher prices. That's a double whammy. What is the sacrifice for? Can any of them just answer the question? Like, what is it for? For new pronouns? Is that what is it for? Like, what's the trade-off? We're talking about, a more equal society. Well, what do the people who don't want this get? Right now, it's a swift kick in the ass.
Yeah.
If you don't like it, do something about it. And they know we ain't gonna do nothing. Because we don't do anything. Because we are good people, David. That's the other side of it. We are good people. We just, I don't want to bother anybody. Whatever. Fine. How many times you gonna roll your eyes? Fine. I'll pay the 3 times as much for groceries. Fine. I'll pay 3 times as much for energy. Fine. I'll pay twice as much for gas. Fine. I'll pay more taxes. Fine.
Yeah, and that's the thing. A lot of people hide behind that too, or use that as an excuse where it's like, well, I mean, it doesn't really matter what gas gets to. I'm gonna get gas anyway. I need it. Where it's like, well, yeah, obviously you're gonna fucking fork up the money, but like, it's the principle of like, well, why the fuck is it going up so much,
brother? It's more than that. It's more than the principle. See, one of the things, I'm only a little bit older than you, but one of the things you start to realize money is for, as you age, is money is time. It's time with people.
Yeah.
Time with people. You get a little bit older and you start to see your parents get a little bit older. You start to see your grandparents get older. And you start realizing, man, like, if I see my grandma twice a year and she lives for 3 more years, I have 6 times to see my grandma. That's it. And now if a flight costs $700 to get to New York instead of $200, and you don't have that extra $500 laying around because gas costs you $50 instead of $30 every time, and groceries cost you $200 instead of $100. So at the end of the year, you don't have that $500 to see grandma. What do you do? You FaceTime grandma. You don't see her. So now you see grandma once a year. It's not just an inconvenience. It's not just a roll of your eyes. They just stole half of the amount of times you have left with your loved ones. They stole that from you.
Yeah.
It's not about, oh no, now I can't afford the second car. No, I can't afford to see my parents. After they locked us down for 2 years, first they told me I'm not allowed to see them. Now I can't afford to see them.
Yeah.
They're stealing moments of your life. They're stealing your people from you. That's what it is. That's the horror of the situation. Right? It's not, it's, and again, this is where Republicans are fucking useless. How hard is that message? How hard is that for a political campaign? They're going to get smoked in November. Everybody thinks
they really are.
Everybody thinks this red wave is coming. This red wave is not coming.
I mean, I can see it coming.
And they don't deserve it because they don't want to run against that. They don't want to run against the pain of prices. Because, and this is just my opinion, speculation, they think when they take over, it's their turn to have the bank vault open.
Mm-hmm.
They don't want it. They don't want a smaller government, and they don't want to help us. They want their bite at the apple. That's why they're not running against this crap.
Yeah.
Because this is the quote-unquote new normal. And just as many as them are bought by the World Economic Forum as the Democrats. Maybe not as many, but at least half of them. At least half of them are in. The big lie happening right now is that the United States government doesn't want the globalization.
Yeah. The
United States government, our federal government, wants in on this global federation because they think they're going to run it. Every dais you see, it has John Kerry, Secretary of State John Kerry. It has Bill Gates. Americans have, these American elites, they have their seat at the table. So for them, what the hell do they care about us here back at home? They want the power of the globe.
Right.
You think Dick Cheney gives a shit about America or Liz Cheney when Halliburton could be in every country? Mm-hmm. I don't need congressional approval to go in there and harvest lithium. No, they want it. That's the big lie. They want this globalization.
Right.
Because they think they're going to sit at the head of the table.
Mm. Gerard.
Yep.
What an interesting podcast we've had today.
This was a downer, I feel like.
This was a little more it's a little more somber, I would say. It's a little darker. But how about we, for the last little bit, go into a little lighter topic?
Sure.
You sent me a link that I couldn't open in front of my family. I was with my niece and nephew. We were hanging out. We were doing something wholesome. We were praying.
Nice.
We weren't praying.
As Colombians do.
We were just hanging out.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, my best buddy Gerard sent me a message. What is this? Oh, it's a little Instagram link. Kids, gather around. Mm. And then this popped up. Gerard, do you want to explain to me what this is?
David, I want you to explain to me what this is. Is this the Black Tape Project?
This is the Black Tape Project, the most expensive body art in the world. Anything else is imitation.
All right.
Empowering women since 2008.
This has to be like some sort of a joke. Like this has to be like when James Lindsay and Peter Bogdazian,
Can we even show this on YouTube?
I don't think we can. But this is so there's this whole movement to replace bikinis with body tape for whatever reason. First of all,
how is that comfortable?
That's just electrical tape. And what's hilarious is that this guy is putting the electrical tape on these models, completely nude models, and he's taping them in these very artistic ways. It does look great, but he's like looking at it like he's he's dissecting, like he's Michelangelo.
Oh, there he goes.
Yeah, he's Michelangelo working on the Sistine Chapel. And it's like, bro, that's plumber's tape. You're just
You're just the
you're just using plumber's tape to make these girls look like they were extras in Tron.
Dude, you are bricked up right now.
He is, yeah, right? He's a genius. How much money is this guy making?
I don't know.
And it's female empowerment somehow, and you're seeing this all over. Like there's this whole movement,
female empowerment
for body tape over a bikini, and I just keep going back to that old Seinfeld thing. There's a good naked and a bad naked. Like I don't need. Like I feel like we've reached.
Don't ever pick up the remote when she's naked.
I think we've reached peak bikini. Whatever Boutine LA did with these itty bitty high hip string bikinis that I see down here in Florida all the time, that is pinnacle. That is peak. That's as sexy as it gets. But at least there's still fabric there. At least there's still something.
So you are against this?
I gotta tell you, I'm not a fan. I mean, it's nice to look. It's nice to look at, but you're telling me that you want to go out and like you want that at the beach?
I don't mind.
No mind, huh?
Why would I mind? Because I know the person I'm dating would. I know any woman that I know wouldn't do all this.
That's a lot of work, isn't it?
That's a lot of work. Also, do you expect me to do that for you?
Yeah.
I'm not doing that. I fuck up when I paint in the corners.
It's just, you know what this is? I mean, it's so funny too because we talk about ESG. Like, look at this. It's like, it's female empowerment. It's just a dude who gets to sit like eye level with a belly button the whole time while he puts plumber's tape on.
Wait a minute.
Chicks.
So
like,
when he's down there.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. See, that's what
the whole thing's taped up, buddy.
Jeez.
The whole kitten caboodle.
So,
it's the kitten's caboodle.
Let's cut real quick.
Yep. Speaking of rocked up, Dave, you all right over there?
I'm fine.
Yeah.
I'm fine.
I'm fine.
Listen, I already forgot what I was gonna say, but this is empowerment, and I am for this type of empowerment. Oh no! So I was gonna say, so he's just
powerful.
He tapes them up, all of them himself.
Yeah.
So you're telling me he's eye level with the
the whole time. All those supermodels, and those are super models.
Dude, this is
so like that's the type of stuff. Like that's the type of stuff where it's like
transition, right?
That I could start doing. Yeah. I don't know if I can go full in, but like I can start doing like comically ridiculous stuff. If somebody wants to give me $1 million because I came up with the first female empowerment tape, and I'm just gonna sit there, like I'm gonna tape up this. You go, girl. Yeah, I can get behind that. That I can get behind.
Yeah, you can get behind that. Listen, I think there is going to be, and we'll talk about, there's going to be a thing, like a Tinder swindler documentary, but like tape rape. It's a documentary about this guy that ended up just being a rapist.
Yeah.
Fucking just molested and raped women.
This is the Fire Festival of
where you find out he was like, well, he
promised me this thing was good for my skin. It turns out it was just electrical tape, and it's like, well, I mean, it said Gorilla Tape on it, like right there.
Yeah,
literally latex tape right there.
And then it's like, yes, I lied to you.
Yeah,
you're a fucking idiot.
No, well, they got paid for sure.
Bought this.
What's so funny? Go through the comments and you see like all these women like, I need to do this. Why? How come I wasn't involved in this? It's like, man.
All right, let's go. Gorgeous. Yeah. Does it hurt to remove downstairs? Yeah. Asking for a friend.
Asking for a friend.
Wow, a lot of heart emojis. So brave.
So brave.
So beautiful. Looks fucking amazing. Honestly,
now what happens, David, when
Retro.
What happens when they have to be inclusive and
No. Gerard, you can't beat him. Join him. Are you getting taped up by this dude?
It's gonna look like a ring ding.
Dude, if hey, he has to be inclusive, and I want him to be this into it.
Oof. He has to be.
He has to be
that into it.
Scissors in the mouth. Look at this. Look at this artist at work.
Yeah.
Dude, he's bricked up.
He's ready to rock. That guy.
Ready to rock.
Real man of genius. Today we salute you, Mr.
Whoa, what is this?
Mr. Electrical Tape Bikini Inventor.
What? There's a hashtag that's like hashtag white tape project instead of black tape project. Oh, okay, never mind. It's not a race thing. Sorry, it's a little tense. It's because he's using white tape.
Yeah.
Absolutely amazing.